Hi and welcome to another Type with me. This week I want to talk about object destruction versus function parameters. So function parameters gives you a contract, right? If you give certain parameters into a function, you have some kind of contract. A contract says that that function giving the parameters x, y, z, right? So that's a great thing, but it has also a lot of downsides, and I want to discuss it in this video. So imagine you have a function like this. You have a function greetings, and you provide a parameter with the parameter name, and then you return another string, right? You return hello and then a name. Well, that's fine, and your contract is greetings and then a name. So I can very easily do it like this, greetings, and then I say my name. And of course, I want to do something like console.log to make this happen. Here we go. So that's nice, that works, but now we want to provide a last name, right? So you can very easily add last name right here. But then again, you will see here that we get an error, so that's not something that we want, right? So we could do something like this because we want to have backwards compatibility. So what we can do now is say, okay, if we have a last name, then we return something like this. Great. Of course, maybe you want to do something like this. You want to say, okay, last name doesn't need to be first, so we can very easily adapt our function to that, right? And then we can change this to this, right? And of course, first name, he doesn't know what first name is, so we change this to first name, and then of course here we have first name, right? So we return something back, and again, no complaints from TypeScript, so that's great, that's nice. We can work with that, right? So I can use this, and I can copy paste it, right? So we do so, and I put here something like Joris do, and I can do something like this, true, and that's all fine, right? So you see already one slightly different thing is the readability, right? Because now when you look at code, you don't know what Joris do or true is, right? You don't know what this. Okay, you can ask and you can see here what it is because your IDE is just providing it for you, and that's fine. But it can be a slight disadvantage, in my opinion, that you don't have the meaning of what these parameters are, right? So again, for readability, what I want to do right here is do something like this. And then we want to add maybe an extra thing, the prefix, right? You can do question mark and then string, right? And then here I can do something like this. Prefix. Maybe we can put something like this. Hello. And so the prefix has always some kind of value there, right? A default value. And we can use this one right there as well. But then again, you know, one thing that you want to do then is following. You want to have a prefix, but you don't have a last name, right? So then you do something like this, undefined, true, and then you do something like hi. And of course this works, but it's strange and it's not reader friendly. And in my opinion, not a good solution, right? Because what you want to do is the following thing. And here comes the object destruction into hand, right? So what we can do now is say, okay, I want to have an interface, greetings, params, and here we want to have all this kind of things right there. And of course, what we can do now is do now something like this, right? So we change it a little bit. Again, if this is empty, we can say, hey, I want to have something like hello. And then, of course, everything needs to change there. So we need to do something like this. And then we can do hierarchy and hierarchy. All right. And again, you will see in your code that something like this really can be a struggle also for later when you are going to develop things. Your functions are going to having more and more parameters, like maybe more than 7. And then, yeah, it's also, like I said before, not readable. And it's better to use this object construct, right? Now, again, if we want to use that object construct, we can very easily do so by just saying first name of course this one needs to be optional and that one too. And again, we can put something like this right here, and then we say we want to have a last name which is of type do, or of value do, right? And then of course we can have here last name first true. And you see it's now readable, right? Because you know what you're going to provide to that function. You know that the first name is yours and the last name here is do. And here you know that the only parameter that I give here is the first name, right? And again, here when we just want to have something like that and we want to have a prefix as well, but you don't want to have a last name, you can very easily, you can very easily copy paste this one and have a prefix high. And also that needs to work, right? Also, and that's also an advantage in my opinion, is that you can do something like this, prefix high and then your first name. So the order is not of an importance here, right? So again, it can be an advantage. It also can be a disadvantage, but it's a good practice. So that's the reason why I say that for me, function parameters are fine if you are having not a lot of function parameters. But then again, when your application is going to grow and you have more and more parameters that you need to pass by, well, then it makes sense to have something like an object construct, object destruction, right? So that you can very easily use this kind of pattern in your application. You will see that it will fit and helps within the readability of your code. It will help other programmers to build stronger code and better code, right? So it has its advantages, right? Again, like I said, you cannot provide here a default parameter, so that's something you cannot do, right? And the other construct you could do. So again, It's a little bit of a versus story that I tell you right here, but it's great to have that in mind when you are going to program your application and you see that you need to use a lot of parameters. Just create an interface and use this object destruction to feed your functions like I showed you before. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you will use these concepts within your application. It will please me a lot, right? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do that already, and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.